make his reply.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir, and I rise to respond to the very good question raised by the Honourable Tinambuna. And just before I do respond, I was in deep thought when I was listening to the words of the Honourable Minister for Home Affairs and the discussion that happened with regard to a challenge that is in front of us. And the word that I thought about was boldness. With what's happening in our country, it requires us to be bold. Bold in the effort to address the challenge of drugs, and also bold, sir, in our endeavor to rebuild the architecture of the Fijian economy. And thus, hopefully, my answer today will at least shed some light on where your government is headed, sir, in terms of its desire to diversify the economy of Fiji. There's so many things to talk about, sir. I'll just pick on a few. Hopefully, just to give an idea to the members of this august house and also to the people of Fiji where we're headed. Honourable Speaker, for far too long, talks of economic diversification have existed without much action taken. The ministry which I lead has taken it upon itself to undertake concrete initiatives to expand and diversify our Fijian economy. We have established a commercial agriculture task force to support diversification and expansion, specifically focusing on attracting investors into the agricultural sector and hopefully aquaculture as well. Recently, I led a delegation to the inaugural Fiji North America Business Mission, which was held in Canada and also the US of A. The delegation consisted of government agencies, the private sector, and some of our very own exporters. At that business mission, Honourable Speaker, sir, Fiji Water formally announced that they are exploring commercial agricultural opportunities to Fiji. They also have made an announcement in the papers in the last few days, sir, and this has been made possible by the close collaboration between Fiji Water, the wonderful company, the Commercial Agricultural Task Force, the Honourable Prime Minister, as they explore the revitalization of agricultural commodities. So I have to say that this announcement can potentially be a game changer for Fiji in commercial agriculture. On the back of this, Honourable Speaker, I can also advise that there is another investor seriously looking at commercial agriculture. They currently are based in PNG and are already in discussions with Fijian Holdings and FNPF. Another thing that I thought I'd share when talking about commercial agriculture, for those of you who may have noticed, just recently FNPF and BSP joined forces and are now joint shareholders in a company called Future Farms. That, sir, is a signal to the rest of Fiji that two of our largest institutional investors are serious about commercial agriculture in Fiji. And for those of us who can remember, when the FNPF decided to start investing in tourism, the results is all for us to see in what happened that many moons ago. I think Honourable Ngavoka will remember when that actually happened. So moving on, we are also genuinely working on building our kava industry through the established Kava Task Force, which is being led by the Ministry of Agriculture and Waterways. It should come as no secret that the kava industry is anticipated to be a billion-dollar industry in the future. This was also confirmed by various actors in the kava sector in the United States who I had met along the margins of the recent Fiji North America business mission. During the mission in California, we heard firsthand from kava importers, distributors, and the members of the different kava groups who promote and sell kava, the potential that exists in kava. With kava evolving from being a commercial ceremonial drink to the development of different ways to drink kava and have niche kava products, we need to develop and strengthen standards, the legislative framework to protect our kava industry and strengthen the quality of kava exported from Fiji. We need to ensure the right legislative framework is in place, and which is why, sir, we are pursuing the kava bill and hope this will move things forward. Apart from kava, sir, there's a bit of focus going on in noni, ginger, turmeric, and mahogany and fisheries potential as part of our desire to diversify. And sir, it'll probably surprise you that the noni industry globally is about $2 billion US dollars. And there is some more potential. Turning to the nutraceutical and traditional medicine industry, with the rapid growth of globalization, we need to be innovative with our approaches to generate new opportunities for our economy. To this end, we are also trying to further develop our nutraceutical and traditional medicine industry, including medicinal cannabis. We are leading a cabinet-mandated task force which is exploring the establishment of medicinal cannabis in Fiji, and with the support of the Australian government, a feasibility study has been undertaken, when I will be reporting back to Cabinet soon on the results, and therefrom, hopefully, Mr. Speaker, sir, we can start developing the legislation to actually start this industry. In terms of ICT, Honourable Speaker, sir, I have said quite a bit in the last few days of ICT. Suffice to say, sir, that with the entry of Google, the entry of Starlink, we have a major potential in the ICT industry in our country. At lunch, the Honourable Attorney General introduced me to a couple that are actually currently doing good work in Levuka. And they are actually IT experts. And they have only but reaffirmed my expectation that there is massive potential for our country, and for the Pacific for that matter, in the ICT. Just for some additional information, Google is actually going to invest about $200 million in Fiji to create its own data center. This will actually create that pathway that we all expect that will happen in the ICT sector. And of course, as I've mentioned, education is key. The government has already partnered with USP in trying to look at developing the ICT sector, and I hope to expand more on that in the near future. So the BPO or outsourcing industry is another of those industries that is starting to gain momentum. It was 3,000 people before COVID. It's now at around about 8,000 people. And these are some of the things that we are focusing on, Honourable Speaker, in trying to deliver a diversified Fijian economy. Of course, we are also focusing on trade agreements. I have mentioned the IPEF agreement, or we have talked about and ratified the IPEF agreement, Honourable Speaker. We are in discussions on PESA Plus with the Australian government, and also closely looking at the CPTPP agreement as well, sir, in terms of what that can do for Fiji. And finally, sir, there is a big commitment in the SME sector and actually cooperatives. I feel that if we actually develop some of these sectors well, we will put the country in a very good footing in terms of economic diversification. So I also welcome the comments made by the Leader of the Opposition. He was keen to sort of see how he could get involved in terms of agriculture and also sugar. And I think hopefully with the brief time that I've shared with the August House and the members of this chamber some of the serious efforts that are going in to ensure that our economy is genuinely diversified, we create jobs, get more taxes to be able to battle some of the challenges that we have, as mentioned by the Minister of Home Affairs. Nasa Wale.
Naka. Supplementary?
Yes. Just quickly, Honourable Minister, I think you've heard all of this before, but your neighbour and your brother, Deputy Prime Minister, will support this. In terms of diversification, and I spoke about it this morning, one of the areas that Fiji could really benefit out of is sustainable aviation fuels. And I think it helps the sugar industry get a better price for our sugar by producing more ethanol. Is this an area, Honourable Minister, that you will be concentrating on heavily to ensure that we actually get into that particular space?
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Yeah, it's interesting that you've mentioned that. In fact, again, I've been reaching out to various consultants just to get some context on various industries. I met two gentlemen, well-known authorities in terms of sugar, and what they said to me was an industry, sugar industry based on global prices alone is not sustainable. And so to your point around developing value-add products such as ethanol to be able to assist with aviation fuel and other products or other value-added potential is worthwhile pursuit. We certainly support it, and we'll actually try and do our best to work with the Minister of Sugar to see what can be done. The consultants also did tell me that in some parts of the world, sugar is looked at as an energy source, not as a sweetener of the food. And when you think about it that way, you do understand that there's a lot of other potential in the sugar industry, and we're certainly going to ensure that that is pursued as well as part of the economic diversification strategy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick follow-up, on Honourable Speaker, if I may. In view of that, what you've just said, and in view of what Honourable Gaboka and I witnessed, the European Union has entirely backed Africa with respect to this. And they forgot about the rest of the Pacific. So will we be engaging with our development partners to seek assistance that can put us in this space quicker and sooner than we anticipate?
Thank you, Honourable Chair. I didn't mention it in terms of the trade agreements, but we are seriously looking at signing up to the interim economic partnership agreement with the EU. And I think once that's signed, I think it will make some of the conversations around sustainable aviation fuel a lot more easier from our development partner side. So I hope to bring to Cabinet really soon the justification around why we should join IPA. And as you know, sir, even in terms of PEFCO, it's uneconomical for them to export to the EU because of the 35% tariff that's currently imposed because we are not signatories to IPA. So, there's once we unlock IPA, I feel that some of the things you mentioned will be very doable. Thank you.
Thank you.